Welcome everyone to our AI on AI podcast. Today we're diving headfirst into a groundbreaking paper on XReasoner that's shaking up the field of generalizable reasoning across modalities and domains.
Thanks for having us. What's truly exciting is how this approach leverages text-only training to build reasoning skills that automatically transfer to multimodal and specialized tasks, a potential game changer for businesses looking to cut down on data curation costs.
Absolutely, technically, it's fascinating. They use a two-stage process, starting with supervised fine-tuning, using long chain-of-thought traces, and then reinforcing the model with mathematical textual questions via reinforcement learning with verifiable rewards.
Right, and the beauty here is how math serves as an anchor domain. Its inherent structure pushes the model to generate extended, reasoning-rich responses that naturally generalize to other fields, like medicine.
And don't forget the forced exiting mechanism they introduced to tackle endless thinking. It works almost like a timeout signal during the chain of thought process, ensuring that once the models reach the token threshold, it wraps up its reasoning neatly.
From a strategic business perspective, it's like having an all-in-one solution. Imagine a healthcare or financial firm that can leverage one model trained on abundant, low-cost text data to perform tasks that traditionally required expensive, specialized multimodal datasets.
I love that analogy. It's like rebuilding a car's engine while cruising down the highway. The model uses basic text data to build robust reasoning capabilities that extend seamlessly into areas requiring visual or domain-specific input.
Exactly. By initially priming the model with general domain text, we're teaching it universal reasoning patterns, including self-reflection and verification. Then, by fine-tuning using reinforcement learning on math questions, it further refines those patterns to be extraordinarily precise.
And this precision isn't just theoretical. Experiments showed significant improvements across benchmarks. They compared pure SFT, pure RL, and a hybrid of both, and the combination yielded performance jumps that were like adding nitrous oxide to your performance engine.
Yes, and the GRPO algorithm they applied during the RL phase is particularly noteworthy. It addresses issues like token length bias and stabilizes training by comparing grouped responses, all of which ensure that the model learns coherent, structured responses rather than just verbosity.
For business leaders, that's huge. Imagine a retail company using this model to analyze customer feedback, or a bank processing regulatory documents. Efficient, consistent reasoning translates directly into cost savings and operational agility.
I can even cite a case from a consultancy where reducing the time needed for data curation by 15% made a noticeable financial impact. Here, leveraging abundant general domain text cuts down on resource-heavy multimodal data, freeing up funds for other strategic investments.
Speaking of efficiency, it's interesting how their method sidesteps the need for multimodal specialized datasets. In today's competitive environment, shaving off complexities in data curation could mean faster time to market for AI applications.
Also, by directly using verifiable rewards, that is, rewarding the model only when its answers match ground truth, they mitigate risk from reward hacking. This assures us that the model's outputs aren't just generically good, but are also correct in specialized, high-stakes applications like medical diagnostics.
Precisely. And when they extended their work to create XReasoner Medid for the medical domain, the performance even surpassed previous state-of-the-art. Despite the fact it was only further fine-tuned on medical text after learning general reasoning patterns.
It's akin to the 80-20 rule in business. The bulk of the reasoning capability comes from general text training, while a small, targeted dataset for a specific domain fine-tuning pushes performance even further.
That's a major strategic insight. Organizations can harness a general-purpose model and then boost performance in critical verticals with minimal additional investment. A classic win-win from both technical and business standpoints.
And don't forget, sectors like legal services or healthcare, where precision is essential, can adapt this model quickly. It's like having a Swiss Army knife that's been optimized on the go. You get versatility without the overhead of creating specialized tools from scratch.
Wow, that really puts things into perspective. Let's dig a bit deeper. How do you view the scalability challenges here, especially when you consider that the RL phase used 56 hours on 32 high-end GPUs?
That's a fair point. The computational cost is non-trivial. However, the trade-off is that you build a model with robust generalizable capabilities that can serve multiple domains. As hardware continues to improve and become more affordable, these training times will shrink further.
Plus, the modularity really shines here. Once you've established a strong reasoning framework via text, scaling it to new domains only requires incremental fine-tuning, not a complete re-engineering.
And let's remember, they opted for text-only training precisely because text data is more abundant and far less expensive than gathering specialized multimodal data. In a way, they're future-proofing the model economically.
From my perspective in the boardroom, that's critical. Lower data acquisition costs mean a lower barrier to entry for deploying advanced AI solutions, especially for smaller companies or startups looking to innovate without huge budgets.
I'd even add that this approach empowers companies to be more agile. Scaling a model across geographies or industries doesn't require massive data operations. A quick domain-specific fine-tuning is all it takes.
And it's not just about efficiency. The real charm here is in the model's ability to unify reasoning across modalities. For example, the paper shows that even when handling visual data, the model's reasoning chain remains detailed and coherent, almost as if it were seeing the situation the same way it reads text.
That's key. Their ablation studies ruled out that the improvements were simply due to text shortcuts. Even after removing text-solvable examples, the model consistently outperformed traditional multimodal methods.
Exactly. This proves that the core structure of reasoning is transferable. It's like learning to ride a bike. Once you get the balance and coordination, you're set, regardless of whether you're navigating a city or a mountain trail.
And from the technical side, that transferability speaks volumes. If we can capture the essence of reasoning from text, we can build models that are both simpler and more robust, sidestepping the labor-intense process of dataset curation for every new modality.
This is where the business case really unfolds. A streamlined, versatile AI model can reduce time to market and operational costs substantially, providing a significant competitive advantage.
Imagine a scenario where a company deploys this model across its operations, from customer service chatbots to automated legal analyses, and sees a 15 to 20% improvement in efficiency. That's transformative.
And there's an unexpected twist here. While most in the AI community are pivoting towards ever bigger and more complex models, here we're seeing that a focused, text-based training regimen is capturing what many believed required multimodal inputs.
Yes, that's the contrarian take. Instead of continuously scaling up data variety, focusing on the quality and structure of text-based training can yield superior reasoning skills.
It challenges the status quo. Sometimes the simplest ingredients are the most potent, much like a chef who creates a gourmet meal from just a few spices when used thoughtfully.
And in our context, that few spices are the long chain of thought reasoning patterns, carefully distilled and then amplified by reinforcement learning.
I must say, this approach offers a compelling value proposition for companies aiming to integrate AI into their strategic operations without overcomplicating their data pipelines.
Exactly, and it opens the door for businesses in highly regulated domains like healthcare and finance, where the reliance on well-verified data such as text translates into more trustworthy deployments.
As we wrap up, what would each of you say is the one key takeaway for our audience from this discussion?
For me, it's that generalizable reasoning isn't confined to multimodal data. The core of reasoning can be learned from text alone, and that's a real paradigm shift in our approach to AI training.
I'd add that leveraging math as an anchor domain is ingenious. Its structured nature not only supports long-form reasoning, but enhances performance in unexpected areas.
From a technical viewpoint, the combined SFT and RL approach, especially with safeguards like forced exiting, demonstrates that careful algorithmic design can overcome traditional hurdles like endless thinking.
And strategically, businesses stand to gain immensely from this. Lower data overhead and adaptable models mean faster, more cost-effective innovation across industries.
I echo that, and I'd say the future belongs to those who can integrate these insights into flexible cross-domain applications, turning theoretical advances into practical tools that drive real-world outcomes.
Thank you all for this rich discussion. Your blend of technical rigor and strategic insight truly brings the paper's innovations to life. It's been enlightening, engaging, and yes, a little bit fun.
Thanks for having us. It's been great unpacking these ideas.
I enjoyed the exchange. It's discussions like this that really push innovation forward.
Agreed. And I'm looking forward to seeing these techniques evolve into everyday applications.
Until next time, keep challenging the boundaries and questioning conventional wisdom.
Cheers to a future where robust generalizable AI drives our next big breakthroughs. Cheers, everyone.
Welcome back to part 2 of our podcast. Now we're diving deeper into the nuts and bolts of XReasoner's implementation and its real-world business applications.
Let's start with the technical deep dive. In the supervised fine-tuning phase, the team used long chain of thought, COAT, reasoning traces, distilled via rejection sampling from a higher capacity model, ensuring that each step of reasoning is coherent and transferable.
And then there's the reinforcement learning phase using GRPO. This algorithm introduces a token-level policy gradient that normalizes reward by total token count, effectively mitigating the response length bias that can otherwise lead to overly verbose outputs.
Exactly. And what's really clever is the use of a higher clipping threshold in the GRPO algorithm, which avoids entropy collapse and preserves the diversity of responses, ensuring that the model generates reasoning chains that are as varied as they are accurate.
Adding to that, the forced exiting mechanism acts like a safety valve. It stops the model from endless thinking once a predefined token limit is reached, kind of like a circuit breaker in a power system, ensuring coherent and timely conclusion of the reasoning process.
From a business standpoint, this modular approach is transformational. Companies can leverage the initial text-based SFT as a robust backbone and then perform targeted RL fine-tuning to tailor the model for domains like finance, healthcare, or legal services, reducing both time and cost.
On the implementation side, it's fascinating how the SFT phase, by distilling detailed chain-of-thought patterns, forms a general-purpose reasoning engine that can later be adapted with minimal investment to specialized domains, essentially turning abundant text data into a versatile AI asset.
I see that. It's like how the token-level reward normalization in GRPO encourages precision over mere verbosity, ensuring quality responses even when the model is pushed to solve complex mathematical or domain-specific problems.
And the interplay of these techniques, SFT with Longcot and RL via GRPO, not only boosts performance on benchmarks, but also generates reasoning outputs that are lengthy and detailed when needed, yet remain practical for real-time business applications.
Technically speaking, the forced exiting mechanism is a game changer. It stops runaway token generation by appending a designated end token when the model reaches a certain threshold, which means you get consistent bounded responses every time.
Strategically, this reliability is critical for businesses. Imagine a finance firm deploying an AI for real-time risk assessment. The assurance that the AI won't overrun its computation cycle is as valuable as a quality control guarantee.
Let's put it in real-world terms. As seen in some pilot projects, financial institutions now use a similar chain-of-thought architecture to break down complex market analyses into actionable insights, which has led to a notable 15% reduction in analysis time.
And there's another real-world use case in healthcare. By fine-tuning the model on medical texts after initial general reasoning training, a hospital network improved diagnostic suggestion accuracy, saving critical decision-making time during patient care.
I'd add that this approach, leveraging text-based training to build universal reasoning skills, means that businesses no longer have to invest heavily in custom multimodal data. Instead, they tap into a robust foundation that can be fine-tuned for almost any domain.
Building on what Expert 3 said, it's like upgrading an old car with a modern engine retrofit. You keep the solid chassis, but add efficiency and performance where it counts, without starting from scratch.
And let me throw in a bit of humor. Expert 2, your explanation of token-level bias is as captivating as explaining quantum physics to a toddler. It makes you appreciate how every little tweak can have a huge impact.
Thanks for that. I believe these technical adjustments, though subtle, are the secret sauce behind the model's ability to generate accurate, concise reasoning under various conditions.
As Einstein famously said, imagination is more important than knowledge, and here that imagination is powered by meticulous engineering and clever algorithmic design, driving real business value.
Absolutely, because when you break down the process into its core components, robust general reasoning via SFT and precise optimization via RL, you unlock a scalable solution that businesses can deploy across diverse use cases.
And that scalability is key. By tailoring the same foundational model with minor domain-specific adjustments, companies can roll out AI solutions faster and at a lower cost, which is a huge competitive advantage in today's market.
Not to mention, the stability provided by forced exiting and the token-level policy ensures that even under heavy load, the model delivers consistent, high-quality output, which is something enterprises can bank on.
In summary, these technical innovations, from GRPO enhancements to the forced stopping mechanism, translate into tangible business benefits by reducing operational costs, streamlining data curation, and accelerating deployment cycles.
That wraps up our deep dive in Part 2. Thanks to all our experts for shedding light on the intricate details of implementation and how they power real-world business solutions. It's been an enlightening journey, and we look forward to exploring more groundbreaking AI innovations in our next session. All right, everyone, as we draw near to the end of this enlightening discussion on XReasoner, let's take a moment to wrap up our key innovations and insights.
Sure, the conversation highlighted how combining supervised fine-tuning with long chain-of-thought reasoning and reinforcement learning through GRPO creates a robust reasoning engine that is surprisingly generalizable across modalities and specialized domains.
Exactly. What really stands out is the clever use of token-level reward normalization within GRPO and the forced exiting mechanism, which together not only prevent endless thinking, but also ensure precise, bounded outputs every single time.
And from a technical perspective, it's particularly noteworthy how these methods transform abundant general domain text data into a versatile foundation that can later be fine-tuned with minimal cost for domain-specific applications such as healthcare or finance.
I like to think of it as upgrading an old engine. You keep the solid framework and then add modern turbochargers, like targeted RL fine-tuning, to boost efficiency and performance without having to rebuild the entire system from scratch.
From the business side, this modular approach means that companies can quickly adapt these AI models for real-world tasks, like reducing analysis time in finance or cutting diagnostic delays in healthcare, unlocking significant cost savings and competitive advantages.
In summary, we explored how XReasoner leverages a dual-phase training strategy to not just excel in general domain tasks, but also power advanced multimodal and specialized domain reasoning, proving that smart, text-based training can drive lasting business and technical impacts. Thank you all for sharing such deep details and for keeping it both technical and strategically rich. Until next time, keep thinking outside the box, and remember, the best innovations come when we blend rigorous engineering with real-world practicality.